Welcome to Financial Confidence for High-Achieving Women, the go-to podcast for women of color entrepreneurs overwhelmed by their finances and ready to transform their money mindset, take control of their money, and build sustainable wealth. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money, certified financial coach and CEO of Money Honey LLC. I believe that abundance is your birthright and that good money management doesn't mean cutting out the joy from your life. Stick around to learn how you can build intentional money habits that align with your biggest lifestyle goals. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to a bonus episode of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. Today, y'all, we gotta catch up, okay? There's been so much happening with Manifest Money Honey, with me. Summer has been in full force. And so this one is a catch-up episode on life, on business. I'm going to share about the Rich Fish Retreat and how that went. I'm going to talk about winning a $50,000 grant. What? And of course, some behind the scenes of what was going on during these successes, right? So during these times, sometimes we don't always talk about what's really happening in the fun, quote unquote, fun parts of entrepreneurship. And so I'm going to share about that too. I'm also going to talk about taking a whole month off of work and how that was amazing, as well as I'm bringing summer break back because this summer break was everything. So all of that to say, settle in. If you're on a drive, hope the drive is going well. If you are, at home about to pick up your favorite beverage, let's get cozy. I'm going to have a Dr. Pepper, as you know, because I'm just going to tell you about what's been happening. So let's get it popping with the retreat. Oh, the Rich Fish Retreat was such a time. It is amazing to see what it's like when your vision comes together, right? There's something beautiful behind that. And with retreats, we plan them for, it's been in the works for a year, right? This particular one. And so, you plan and you're working at it, you're putting the different pieces together over a year. And then just to see it all happen so beautifully is amazing. There was such good, perspective shifts happening, some mindset shifts, just the way that we see and approach money, the prosperity consciousness that was developed. It was really a great time. And of course, we also had a good time with the activities too. One of the things I was really proud about was the schedule that we set up this time. So, there was really a lot of spaciousness between, the fun excursions like the city tour and the elephant sanctuary, and, the workshops that we did. And then, people had time to really process, to really relax and rest. Cause I know I've been on retreats where I'm like, where's the retreat pot? Where do I get to take a nap? Where do I get time to journal? And I made sure that with the Rich Fish Retreat, we definitely had the space to do that. And it was just such a good time. I really loved, everything that we got to see with within the workshops themselves. I love the different things that we talked about, especially the passive income accelerator. That was a time. Okay. We really went through a lot of different ways that you can be generating more money without, going through and generating even more effort. And it's a beautiful thing. We have so much available to us and around us that we might not even be tapping into, whether that be our skills, whether that, be our talents, everything. our network, social capital is such a big thing, and we often, avoid it or think it's, not what it needs to be, quote unquote. But there's so much magic in what we already have and is already available to us. And I love that one. The financial fears workshop was so good as we, really unpacked some of those things that are behind our hesitation to reach for those big goals. And so the retreat was amazing. Thailand is a vibe. I am happy to tell you that we will be going to Thailand at least one more time. Y'all know I'm a manifester, hashtag human design. And so I cannot promise that we'll go to Thailand again, but I will tell you that we are definitely going for one of the retreats in 2026. So if that is something, if you saw the pictures, and the videos and everything from this retreat, and you were like, oh, I definitely need to make it on the next one, I will make sure I include the link to the wait list in the show notes. So that way you join that when we release that information soon, you can snag your spot early. And so it's just going to be great to go one more time. The chef we had, oh my God, wait, we gotta take a moment for the chef. The chef we had was so fire. Like he really, he threw down every single meal. Presentation on point, flavor on point. Like we were all so excited to eat every time. Every time he was about to put together a meal. Cause that's one thing. Like you go to an event with me and my friends will tell you, I'm gonna make sure that the food is on point. Okay? Because like big tourist energy. Like I need the food to be impeccable. And so I'm always going to make sure it's great. But our chef was really amazing. So that was the retreat. It was such a good time. And one of the coolest things that happened during the retreat was finding out that I won a $50,000 grant. Still screaming. Okay. Like the coolest thing. And let me tell you about that experience, y'all. Like I feel like we can get in our own way, right? And so with this, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna apply. Like I did not think that I was going to get the grant. I did not think I was going to be close. I was just like, you know, let them tell me no. And so I submitted the video. I submitted my application. And so before the retreat, I found out that I was one of the finalists. So one of 10 out of like 4,000, which is so cool. And then while I was on the retreat, they sent me an email and they were like, "Hey, we want to do like one more interview, just before we make our decision." And so that I ended up being available at like 10 p.m. Thailand time because I was not in the US at this time. And when I get on the call, it turns out that I was selected as one of the winners. And I was like, what? Like tears, emotions just flooded my spirit. It's so amazing. And the grant is the famous Amos Ingredients for Success grant. And they choose Black entrepreneurs. And I think the thing that was so special is just to be seen and appreciated for the work that you're doing within the community and for um just like for other women, like just to be seen in that way honestly was the thing that really warmed my heart the most and really brought the most emotion. Like yeah, I almost didn't apply, which is crazy. Like that's why like if you have an inkling that you should apply to something, like just go ahead and apply, like just do it. But like with this, I just felt it felt so good to be seen. Like, I've been an entrepreneur for 11 years at this point and been full time for well, I guess an entrepreneur for 12 years, honestly, and full time for 11. And like, we see people who like start being in their winning season And it's like, oh, must be nice, or like that's so cool. Or we have a tendency to feel like it just happened overnight for them, right? Like that's the whole overnight success thing. And it's not that. Like there's so much that goes into these things, into this favor that we don't see. There's so much work, there's so many tears, there's so many like no's, there's like just so much that goes into that, right? And to finally be recognized for the work has been absolutely amazing. It's been everything that I've wanted. And, the cool thing about it is I've been doing articles, or, I've been doing interviews that led to articles, and I'll make sure to link a couple of those in the show notes too. But like, that has been great to be able to share my story and, why I started this business and what impact I intend to have with the world. And so it's been a whirlwind, honestly. Like things have really picked up, and it's been the most exciting thing. I'm very grateful, very honored, very happy to have received this. And y'all will be able to see the effects going forward, particularly with the podcast. Now one of the things that I'm aiming to do is add a video component, so that is going to be cool to do, and to have the funds to do that in a greater way is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I found that out on the retreat. We got to celebrate, all of us, the attendees. It was so special, and something I'm definitely going to remember forever, because I'm on the retreat talking about our abundance mindset and expansion and going for the dreams and going for the things, right? And so to be able to receive that news there is absolutely amazing. And speaking of travel, so like I told y'all, it's on my break. Mm, 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 mm. This was really the first time I feel like I've done like what felt like a summer break since the I don't know, like since I was in college, maybe. It's been a long time. And so it was it was great. I rested to the max. I had so much fun. So before we went to Thailand for the retreat, my husband and I went to the Philippines for the first time for me and as a couple. And, for those who don't know, my husband is Filipino, and we actually met in the Filipino club at USC. And so it was really special to be able to finally go together and, to share that and, meet up with, one of our awesome team members at Manifest Money Honey, to also, be able to, meet up with one of his cousins. Like, it was so great. So to like be able to travel to a place you've heard so much about uh is cool. We did this food tour, and I ate some strange things, y'all, and but we survived. Like we made it. We made it through. Um it was just really funny. But yeah, so like we did that, and we also went to Boracay and just enjoyed the beach and the water and everything. So it was a good time. And so then after both of those, I came back home for like a few days. Basically, I called it like my pamper break, because, we had to get the nails done. We had to make sure, that we was ready. And then I went to Ghana with friends for 2 weeks after that. And that was a great experience. It was my second time in Ghana. I love it there. It feels like another home. Just beautiful. And so it was cool to be able to go back. And like what I've been saying is that, it's one thing to go to a place one time and be like, "Oh, I really love it." And then to go a second time, it's almost like you're confirming, like, did I really love it as much as I thought? And so, I'm happy to confirm that I did indeed love it just as much as I thought I did. And so it was so good to be back there and, be able to experience more things. I got to feed a zebra, and I love zebras, and just like walk amongst them. That was beautiful and wonderful. And I got a massage under a waterfall. Like, what? The best. Honestly, like the massage I had recently, it was fantastic. Let me just say, it was good. However, there's something about the sounds of the water at the same time that just, it's a vibe. And so, it was just a good time. Love that. And then after that, I came back and I had an additional, couple weeks off of work. I took the time off, guys. And so basically, like, I took all of July off. So once I left, like right a couple days before I left for, uh, Ghana, I took all of July off. And so we came back and I still had some time off. And it was interesting because usually when I take time off, I'm on vacation somewhere. And so maybe I have like a day or two after I get back and then I kind of like hop back into work. And this time I intentionally was like, no, I'm going to take the whole month off. Even if I feel like I'm energized and ready to go when I get back, I'm intentionally going to not jump back into work. And it was a great decision. And, it's like one of those things that I envisioned doing a few years ago, like 5 years ago when I was working with my first business coach. I was like, yeah, I want to like have a sabbatical. Now, of course, at that time, it was because your girl was burnt out. Okay. She was tired. So like really she just needed a break. However, this time, it wasn't coming from that space of being burnt out or being overly exhausted. It was coming from that space of like, I know that when I take time off, I know that when I intentionally rest, I come back with so many more ideas, with a fresh perspective, everything. And so this was cool because I came back from the trip and was able to have time off at home. So it was like I didn't go in my office. I was binging some Housewives, catching up on Love Island. Like I was having a good time. Just vibing, meeting up with friends, went to, rooftop for happy hour, like just had a time, connecting and reading and doing Sudoku puzzles and all of that stuff, right? Like just being intentional about having that time off. And it was really wonderful. And so I've decided that we gonna keep running that back. So, uh, I'm going to make sure that I incorporate a nice summer break, into my schedule going forward, just to have that 1 month of, all right, like we're chilling, we're resting, we're doing whatever it is we feel. Because when I did start back on August 1st, I was ready to go. Like I had the ideas. I was just ready to take action and it's just so refreshing. So highly recommend, like if you are able to structure things so that you can do that, like make it happen. And if you want me to talk more about that, then, shoot me an email, send me a DM, let me know like, hey, can you talk about how you set yourself up to take a month off or, what that looked like for you financially, all those things, feel free to holler at your girl and I'll break it down in another episode. So lastly, let's talk about the behind the scenes, y'all. Okay, let's talk about what goes into some of the amazing things that you see in entrepreneurship. So, for those who've been following closely along, you know that I had the June Rich Fish brunch right like a couple weeks before I left for Thailand, the Thailand Rich Fish retreat. And so about a little like a week before my brunch, I actually had my personal assistant at the time ghosted. Like she stopped responding and she was nowhere to be found. Like, she wasn't responding to anything. And that put me in a really difficult position because, you delegate things. When you have a team, you delegate things to other people so that way you guys can, all work together to make the vision happen. And Laysai. Like, it was a lot of stress. I was dealing with putting together the last things for the brunch. And so, I had to figure out all the decor part. I had to find a way to communicate with the restaurant because she was handling that. And then also, promoting for the last couple ticket sales as well and organizing things with the sponsors. So it just added a lot of stress. And then on top of that, there's still prep for the retreat. So there's still like we had that amazing, as I think I mentioned on the podcast too, like we had the amazing sponsorship opportunity that happened, with like one of my previous clients for the retreat. And so, we're coordinating that and seeing, talking to the women who were going to take advantage of that special, blessing. And then also coordinating gifts because we had those new people who were coming on to the retreat. And then we had, just the details of finalizing, the things for the excursions and the villa and everything like that, right? So there was a lot of items that ended up falling onto my shoulders as I am operating, the business day to day, as I am, doing like bringing my best to the people I get to educate. And then also, y'all, in between all of that, like my visa to go to Ghana took forever to get to me as well. And so they were having, there are issues that were happening at their office. And so now I'm like, well, I need my passport back to go to Thailand and to go to the Philippines. And so there were just like it was so much, right? There was so much stress and so many things up in the air. And what I really learned during that time is the importance of asking for help and reaching out to that social circle, reaching out to your network, because I feel like I wouldn't have been able to do it, without their support, like for being transparent. I think there's a part of me, previously that would have shied away from the vulnerability of all of that and would have just kept it in and would not have said anything and would have just, quote unquote, figured it out on my own. And I'm breaking out of that, right? Like, I don't want to be that person anymore who just kind of like deals with it. I want to be the person who leans into support. And so that's exactly what I did. I reached out, I found somebody else to assist because, that assistant was supposed to be there on the retreat too. And so I found someone else who could assist me, which was great. And I and she's fantastic. Like, shout out to Michelle. She was absolutely amazing. And in addition to that, my husband helped with the prep for the brunch and like, getting all of those things together. I felt held, and that is a beautiful thing. The attendees to the retreat were amazing and so understanding with, some of our communications, arriving like maybe a couple days after they were supposed to, right? And that is just a testament to the community that I've built and the people that I invested around me. And when you're the strong one and you're the strong friend, shout out to us, right? Like, you often are the one who's always there to support others, and you don't always feel like the support comes back to you as readily, but sometimes I feel like it's because we're not asking for it. And this really taught me the beauty and the importance of asking for it. And so that's exactly what I did. And so even though I was like a ball of stress, the brunch was still great. Oh my God, the conversations we had at that brunch were absolutely amazing. And, we had some great results coming out of that. People had savings plans drawn up and already put into action. Another attendee had 2 of their 6 goals that they set there already completed within like a month or 2 of the brunch. And then, as I just mentioned, the retreat was fantastic. And so, you know, that's the stuff that happens. Like, that's the fun part, sarcastically, of entrepreneurship, of, doing big things, of going for the big dreams. Like, yes, you're going to receive those challenges, but it's, you have the choice to let those stop you from what you're pursuing or let those raise you to a higher level, right? Let you learn how to ask for the support. Let you, reach out to see another way that the problem can be solved or everything. The people who love you want to support you. And I think that's something that I need to remind myself of, honestly, during that time. Um, and now I just sit here so grateful. Like this summer has been one of the best. And, it's cool to be able to sit here on the other side of all of that stress and all of the details and things and, be able to see where we're going and see the exciting things that are happening with with Manifest Money Honey and where we're headed. And even the use of like our name transitioning into Manifest Money Honey too is just so exciting. So all that to say, your girl's been having a hot girl summer, and a rich girl summer, and maybe rich bitch summer. Definitely that. So that is the update. That's the bonus episode about winning a 50K grant, about the Rich Bitch Retreat, about just what's been going on in the life of T Money. If there's something, I want to hear like what y'all have been up to this summer. If there's something that you want me to dive deeper on in a future episode, I would love to hear that. If there are questions that you want me to answer on future episodes, I'm excited to hear about that. But much love to y'all, because another cool thing is as the summer has been summering, the podcast has continued to grow. And so I truly appreciate all of the love and support and your listens and your shares and everything. I'm very grateful to you and to be, popping into your earbuds or whatever you're listening through, on a regular basis. So with that, I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I hope the insights shared in this episode have inspired you to take one small action step toward a more empowered relationship with money. If you're ready to take control of your finances like the rich bitch you are, I invite you to book a 90-minute Organize Your Money Honey intensive with me. You'll walk away with a crystal clear financial plan, a budget you'll actually stick to, and actionable steps to start saving and investing faster. Head to the link in the show notes to book your spot. I'm so grateful to be part of your financial journey, and I can't wait to see all the incredible moves you'll make. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.